Apollyon. Who is the Apollyon? Apollyon and Abaddon have the same thoughts of destruction or torment, perdition. Abaddon is a demon who works under Satan and is in charge of an abyss full of locusts that will appear on stage during the final days. Because the Old Testament and the New Testament were written in separate languages, the word for destroyer in Greek is different than the word in Hebrew. This is something that we need to keep in mind at all times. Although we only see the instance in the latter half of the Bible in Revelation chapter 9 verse 11, 5 verses in the Old Testament use the word. Abaddon in the Old Testament appears to mean destruction. Job chapter 26 verse 6. Sheol is naked before him, and destruction has no covering. The name Apollyon is the Greek for Abaddon, meaning destroyer. Revelation chapter 9 verse 11. And they had as king over them the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in Hebrew is Abaddon, but in Greek he has the name Apollyon. This shows that the enemy's camp is organized, with the title of king. In the book of Daniel, we meet the prince of Persia, who was also a high-ranking demon. The term king and prince shows connections to a kingdom, clearly showing a kingdom with opposing forces. Revelation is full of graphical language. Through the continued use of symbols, we can visualize what would otherwise be incomprehensible. It cannot be too strongly emphasized that this is intended to help our understanding, not hinder it. So many individuals have used the highly symbolic nature of the book of Revelation to neglect or even dismiss its instruction, as if the symbols are too vague to convey a clear message. That is entirely not the case, as is evident when they are listed in 4 categories. Some are obvious in their meaning. The dragon or serpent is the devil. The lake of fire is hell. The great white throne is the Lord's judgment seat. Some are explained in the context. The stars are angels. The lampstands are churches. The seals, trumpets, and bowls are disasters. To set the context for Revelation chapter 9 verse 11, when Apollyon shows up. In Revelation 8 through 9, John describes a period during the end times when angels sound 7 trumpets. Each trumpet heralds the approach of a fresh judgment that will fall upon the earth's inhabitants. Immediately after the 5th angel blew his trumpet, a star fell from the sky to the earth. This star opened the abyss. Revelation chapter 9 verse 2. Unleashing a battalion of demonic soldiers, likened to a plague of locusts resembling horses prepared for battle. Revelation chapter 9 verse 7. By this time, there had already been hail and fire mixed with blood, and it was hurled down on the earth. A third of the earth was burned up, a third of the trees were burned up, and all the green grass was burned up. Next, something like a huge mountain, all ablaze, was thrown into the sea. This event marks the beginning of the end, during which Satan and the armies under his control will be unleashed. He will be permitted to take those who reject Christ as king during the cleansing of the whole earth, to make way for a new heaven and a new earth. These beings will be granted the authority to inflict unimaginable torment on anyone who does not wear the seal of God. Their pain will be so intense that sufferers will wish to die. Abaddon-Apollyon is the ruler of the abyss and the king of these demonic locusts. Since this is the king of locusts, and since he has the name Abaddon or Apollyon, this is a high-ranking leader of demons. The name Abaddon appears in some versions of the Old Testament, such as the English Standard Version and the New American Standard Bible. In the New International Version book, King James Version, and New Living Translation, he appears as destruction. John is making a bold spiritual and political statement in the book of Revelation by referring to both Abaddon Hebrew and Apollyon Greek. Together, the seals, trumpets, and bowls of the end times comprise the great day of God's wrath and serve to judge the Antichrist kingdom of wickedness. The Abaddon-Apollyon of Revelation is an actual demon who will one day impose real pain on real people during God's real judgment. Abaddon was a place of the dead in the Old Testament, which is regularly linked with death and the realm of the dead. Psalm chapter 88, verse 11. Shall your loving kindness be declared in the grave, or your faithfulness in the place of destruction? It is linked with a pit in the Dead Sea Scrolls. It is thus equivalent to Hades, the sometimes personified realm of the dead, over which God and Christ have ultimate control. Revelation chapter 1, verse 18. I am he who lives and was dead, and behold, I am alive forevermore. Amen. And I have the keys of Hades and of death. Here the control is assigned temporarily to an evil angel, who seems to have been imprisoned with the other spirits of the pit. Many suggest that this title also ridicules Apollo, the archer god, one of whose emblems were the locust. This tells us that the goal of the evil one who is the head of the Abaddon is against us. John chapter 10, verse 10. The thief does not come except to steal and to kill and to destroy. I have come that they may have life, and that they may have it more abundantly.